My son expected me to pay for his 5th year in college after he partied and failed his classes, arguing, "You can afford it." When I refused, he accused me of destroying his future and moved in with friends. He came back begging when they kicked him out. I said, "Try earning it this time." I raised my son, Alex, in Richmond, Virginia. His mother passed away when he was 10, leaving me to navigate parenthood alone. I worked hard to provide for him, emphasizing the importance of education and responsibility. When Alex graduated high school, he wanted to attend Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU. Despite the steep costs, around $16,720 annually for in-state tuition and fees, I committed to supporting him. I covered his tuition, room, board, and provided a modest allowance, wanting him to focus on his studies without financial worries. The first year went smoothly. Alex adjusted well and maintained decent grades. However, during his second year, I noticed changes. He frequently asked for extra money, mentioning parties and outings. I cautioned him about balancing social life with academics, reminding him of the importance of his GPA. By the end of his 3rd year, Alex's grades had plummeted. He failed multiple classes and was placed on academic probation. We had several discussions about his future, and he assured me he would improve. Believing in him, I continued to fund his education. Entering his 4th year, there was little improvement. He changed majors twice, losing credits and extending his time in college. When he asked me to fund a 5th year, I hesitated. I had already invested over $100,000 in his education, and it seemed he lacked direction and commitment. During one conversation, Alex argued, "You can afford it, Dad. Why wouldn't you want to invest in my future?" His sense of entitlement shocked me. I realized that by continually providing without setting boundaries, I had fostered this mindset. I decided it was time for Alex to take responsibility. I told him, "Son, I've supported you thus far, but it's essential for you to understand the value of your education. If you truly want to continue, you'll need to find a way to fund it yourself." Alex was furious. He accused me of abandoning him and destroying his future. Shortly after, he moved out to live with friends, refusing contact. I was heartbroken but stood firm in my decision. Months later, Alex returned home. His friends had asked him to leave, and he had been struggling to make ends meet. He apologized for his behavior and admitted he hadn't realized how challenging life could be without financial support. We had a heartfelt conversation about responsibility, the value of money, and the importance of earning one's way. Alex decided to take a break from college and secured a full-time job. Over time, he saved enough to enroll in evening classes at a community college, determined to complete his degree on his terms. This journey was painful for both of us, but it taught us invaluable lessons about responsibility, entitlement, and the true value of education. Sometimes, the best way to support our loved ones is to let them face challenges and learn to overcome them independently. Alex moved back in with me in silence. "No, thank you. No, I'm sorry." Just a single garbage bag full of clothes and that worn-out hoodie he always wore when things got bad. He dropped it on the couch and said, "Can I crash here?" I nodded, but something felt different this time. My patience had worn thin over the years. I wasn't about to go back to the old days of pretending things were okay when they weren't. I gave him one condition: get a job and start paying rent in 60 days. I even helped him write a resume and drove him to interviews. For a few weeks, I thought maybe the lesson had finally hit home. Then I noticed things. Money missing from my wallet. Beer disappearing from the fridge. My truck's gas tank getting mysteriously low when I hadn't driven it. I asked him straight up one night, "Are you stealing from me?" He scoffed. "It's not stealing. I live here. You said I'd have a roof over my head. What do you want? A receipt every time I drink something?" I lost it. I told him this wasn't a free-for-all. I laid down the rules again, firmer this time. He stormed off to his room, slamming the door so hard a picture fell off the hallway wall. Next day, my tools were gone. I'd kept them in the shed out back, good ones, some of them passed down from my dad. I used them for weekend projects and repairs around the house. I asked him if he saw anything. Nope. Maybe you forgot to lock it. He was lying. I could see it on his face. I checked Facebook Marketplace later that night. There they were. My toolbox, my drill, my electric saw, all posted by someone under the name AJ Richmond. The profile had no picture, but the zip code was right. I confronted him. You sold my tools? I needed money, he said, arms crossed like he was proud of it. You wouldn't give me anything, and I wasn't about to beg. I told him to pack his stuff. I didn't care where he went. He didn't argue. He actually laughed. You think this is gonna make you look good? Tossing your own kid out twice. That stung more than I care to admit. But I stood by it. He left again, this time with even less than before. I changed the locks. For a while, I didn't hear anything. Months passed. I tried not to think about it. I kept busy, joined a weekend hiking group, volunteered at a shelter downtown. Then one day my phone rang. Unknown number. Dad, it's me. I need help. He sounded broken. Apparently, he'd gotten into trouble with some people. Owed money. Said he tried dealing to make quick cash but ended up in deeper debt. Said he had nowhere else to go. I asked him why he thought calling me would be any different this time. Because you're all I've got left. Part of me wanted to hang up. But the other part, the tired, angry, disappointed father in me, asked, Are you ready to work for it this time? Really work? He said yes. But I've heard that before. I told him he could stay for now, but this time, things would be different. He would have to earn his way back. And this time, I'd make sure the lesson stuck. But then, the next twist came fast. Real fast. He showed up at my doorstep again, but this time with someone behind him, a girl, maybe 19, maybe 20, holding a sleeping baby. Dad, this is Jordan, and that's my son. I stared at him, at her, at the tiny bundle in her arms. And everything shifted. I didn't say anything at first. Just stood there, trying to process what the hell I was looking at. Alex, a father? A kid with no job, no degree, no real sense of direction, had brought a child into this world? He looked nervous, like he was bracing for impact. Jordan didn't speak, just clutched the baby tighter and glanced around like she wasn't sure if she was even allowed to be standing on my porch. Can we come in? He asked. I stepped aside. They walked in like ghosts. We sat in the living room. No one touched the TV remote. No one touched their phones. The baby made a little sound, one of those tiny yawns that squeezes your chest whether you want it to or not. What's going on, Alex? He rubbed his hands together. We got evicted. I was staying with Jordan and her cousin, but they got behind on rent. Cousin bailed. Landlord locked the place. We've been couch hopping for a couple weeks. Last night, we slept in her car. I looked at Jordan. She didn't deny it. I asked, and the baby? Alex said, his name's Mason. He's 2 months old. I asked the question I was dreading. Are you sure he's yours? He nodded. We did the test. That was it. I was now not just a father, but a grandfather. Whether I was ready or not. I told them they could stay. Temporarily. I set ground rules, strict ones. No lies, no stealing, no dealing. I told Alex he'd have to find a job and contribute. Jordan too, if she could. I offered to help with Mason, but I wasn't going to raise someone else's child while they sat on the couch. For a few weeks, things settled. Jordan was surprisingly mature. She took care of Mason without complaining. Kept to herself mostly. She even cooked sometimes. Alex, though, he wasn't changing. He'd go out for job interviews and come back with nothing but excuses. Some days he'd sleep until noon. Other days, he'd argue with Jordan over stupid things. I heard her crying once through the bathroom door. One night, I came home from work and noticed the basement light was on. That was odd. I never used the basement after dark. I walked down and caught Alex on the phone, whispering. He hung up the second he saw me. What are you doing down here? Just getting some space. I didn't buy it. I checked the basement the next morning. Nothing obvious, but I found an old shoebox tucked behind a support beam. Inside were a few baggies, a scale, and about $300 in cash. I lost it. I waited until dinner and laid it all on the table. Literally. The box. The contents. Everything. "What the hell is this, Alex?" Jordan gasped. "You told me you stopped." He didn't deny it. Just stared at the wall. "You're dealing again? In my house? With your kid upstairs?" He tried to say something, but I cut him off. Told him he had until the morning to decide, turn it all in and get help, or leave for good. Jordan cried again. Mason started fussing from the next room. That night, Alex didn't come upstairs. In the morning, the shoebox was gone. So was Alex. Jordan stayed. She was crying on the couch, baby in her arms. "He left," she whispered. "Took my phone, too. I don't know where he went." I didn't know what to do. I wasn't prepared for this. I never asked for this. But I couldn't kick her out. Not with the baby. So she stayed. I helped her apply for WIC, got her into a counseling group. I even drove her to a job fair. She tried. She showed up. She put Mason first. Weeks passed. Then one day, a man came to the door. Wore a badge. Not police. Child Protective Services. He asked if Jordan and Mason were living here. I said yes. He nodded, thanked me, and left a card. I called Jordan immediately. She broke down and told me everything. Apparently, a month before she met Alex, she was living with a guy, older, controlling. She left him when she found out she was pregnant. He had a record. Drugs, domestic stuff. He'd found her again. Filed some kind of custody claim, said she was unstable, staying with random men, including an ex-dealer. That ex-dealer was Alex. I realized then we were in much deeper than I thought. Alex wasn't just running from his responsibilities. He might have just made things worse for his own son and for this young woman who was actually trying to get her life together. I wasn't sure what to do next. But I knew one thing. I had to protect that baby. Even if it meant going up against my own son. The day after the CPS visit, I got a call from Alex. "Dad, I need help." His voice was quiet, shaky. I hadn't heard from him in weeks. He said he was in trouble, again. He'd gotten caught dealing. Not a lot, just a couple of bags, but enough to get booked. Said he was out on bail. Said he needed a place to stay, that he learned his lesson, and just wanted to see Mason. I asked him if he was sober. He said yes. I asked him if he still had the shoebox. He paused too long. Then said no. I told him not to come here. "You're choosing her over me?" "I'm choosing the baby," I said. He cursed and hung up. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat on the porch and thought about every time I bailed him out. Every time I said yes when I should have said no. Every time I looked the other way, hoping things would magically fix themselves. Maybe this was my fault too. Next morning, I found a note taped to the front door. "If you keep my son from me, I swear you'll regret it." No name, but I knew who it was from. I called the cops, filed a report. They couldn't do much unless he actually did something. I beefed up the locks. Installed cameras. Slept light. 3 nights later, I woke to a loud bang. Glass shattered downstairs. I grabbed the bat by my nightstand and ran to the living room. Alex, standing in the middle of broken glass, red-faced, wild-eyed. He looked like hell. "I told you, Dad. I told you not to keep him from me." He started toward the hallway where Mason and Jordan were sleeping. I stood between them. "You need to leave. Now." He kept walking. I raised the bat. I didn't want to use it, but I would have. Not for me. For the baby. Jordan was already on the phone with 911. He reached for the stairs. I screamed at him to stop. He didn't. So I swung. Not hard enough to break anything, but enough to knock him off balance. He hit the floor hard. I didn't care. I stood over him until the police showed up. They cuffed him, dragged him out screaming. "You think you're some kind of hero? You're just a bitter old man. You ruined me." Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't do enough when it mattered most. Or maybe I did too much for too long. He was charged with breaking and entering, plus violating bail. They added child endangerment to the list. That was Jordan's doing. She'd had enough. He's in county now, waiting to be moved upstate. First real consequence he's faced in his life. Jordan's staying with her sister in Roanoke now. She took Mason with her. Said she needed a fresh start, somewhere away from all the chaos. Before she left, she hugged me. "You're not just his grandpa," she said. "You saved us." I still hear Alex's voice sometimes. Late at night. In my head. Accusing me. But the truth is, I did what I should have done years ago. I stopped enabling. And that was my revenge. Not with fists. Not with screaming. With silence. With doors closed that used to stay open. With a firm no instead of a hesitant okay. And it hurt. It still hurts. But some people don't change until the last bridge burns. And I made damn sure he watched it burn.